You can open your Bhagavad Gitas also. We'll start with verse number 16. Kim karma kim akarmeti kavayopyatra mohitaha tatte karma pravakshami tatnyatva mokshase shubhat. Somebody can read the translation, please.
There is no work that affects me, nor do I aspire for the fruits of action. One who understands this truth about me also does not become entangled in the fruitive reactions of work. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Mataji, this is not the translation of 4.16. Book doesn't say this translation.
The same thing that's
Even
written
it
on the
doesn't?
screen.
Well, my book does say.
416 does say.
Yeah. Even the intel. Yeah, this is the
Yeah,
thing.
so this is the translation. If you can read from the screen, or I can read it. Even the intelligent are bewildered in determining what is action and what is inaction. Now I shall explain to you what action is, knowing which you shall be liberated from all misfortune. So,
Sorry, Mataji.
No,
Sorry,
it's
so I
okay.
read for 14.
Yeah, that's okay, Prabhu. We did a recap for 14.
Last class it was 414, no?
15.
So again
Yeah,
I repeated. Sorry.
Yeah, no problem, Prabhu. So if we take this verse simplistically, right, what is action and what is no action? It is very simple to understand. But Krishna is over here saying even the intelligent are bewildered in determining what is action and what is inaction. So there must be some deeper meaning here, right? If the intelligent people over here, let's see. Here we see one lady just sitting, not moving on the right, and the other one is rocking her chair, correct? So one is action, she's doing something, the other is inaction. So what is the complication here? Right? How come the intelligent people are also bewildered in understanding what is action and what is inaction? So we'll understand what the real meaning is. Karma, which is action that produces reaction. So, not just doing work, but also that kind of work which is producing some reaction. And akarma is action that does not produce reaction, which is non reacting work. If we do something which is in devotion to Krishna, there is no reaction that we get. And very simple example is people love to donate, right? Or give in charity to the homeless people. Maybe long time back, there was a Mataji who used to come for Bhagavad Gita classes at home, and she used to go every Saturday, and they used to make hundreds of, like 200-300 sandwiches and distribute them to homeless people in a shelter. And she loved to do that. And she was like, how can I make this? Will this work have any reaction? I said, yeah, because it is pious work. For this pious work, you are accumulating pious credits. And maybe, people who accumulate so many, they go to heaven after they leave the body here. So there is a reaction, good or bad. But if we want to become free from reaction, what we can do is offer the sandwiches to Krishna first, and then, distribute the prasad to homeless people or whoever you want to distribute to. So that becomes a karma. There is no reaction in that work. So we're going to go deeper and deeper. Any questions still here? Very simple, right? What is karma? That which produces reaction, good or bad. And akarma is that which action that does not produce any reaction. Right? We'll keep going. Okay, so kavayopi atra mohita. Which work will be reactive and which work will not be reactive? Understanding this difference is something that bewilders even the wise. Now we understand when Krishna says over here, Kim karma, kim akarmeti. What is karma and what is akarma? Kavayo pe atra mohita. Even the wise or the intelligent are mohita. They are bewildered or they're deluded. Understanding the difference. So this is what it is. Which action will produce reaction and which action will not produce reaction it bewilders even the wise. Gyatva, yad gyatva mokshase shubhat, knowing which you will be liberated from all miseries. And how is that? How will I be liberated from all miseries if I understand which action is producing a reaction and which action is not producing any reaction? And we'll understand with a simple example. If somebody is really sick, unwell, not knowing the cause is very dangerous. It's inauspicious because of ignorance, and the person might even die because he might be doing stuff or eating stuff which is not right for the disease or the problem that the body has. But if he gets the knowledge, goes to the doctor, gets all the tests done, and the doctor is telling, okay, this is the problem, and this will be your diet, these are your medicines, then it becomes auspicious. Although there is a disease in the body, but the knowledge is auspicious because now I can get rid of the disease, right? So inauspicious is because of ignorance, and special knowledge removes that inauspiciousness. So similarly, the living beings are infected by the disease of karma and they are suffering. What exactly is this disease and what is the medicine? One has to understand. And Krishna says, Pravakshami. What is this? Pravakshami, which is I will speak that subject. Krishna will give a further analysis of the process of karma. So now he talked about it in 3.35. About what? About Karma Yoga. Remember, in the 3rd chapter, Krishna started to speak about Karma Yoga. And then 37 to 43, Krishna spoke about lust and analyzing how to control lust. Then in 4.1, what happened? Krishna spoke about how this knowledge is coming down in disciplic succession. And suddenly there was a detour, or there was, we spoke about how you're going on a freeway and you see there is 7-Eleven or a place like that where you can take a detour, take some rest, eat a little bit, and then go to the restroom, come back on the road and start going on your destination. So Krishna has been talking about Karma Yoga starting in 3rd chapter. There was a little detour in 4th chapter beginning where Arjun asks, how can I understand you give the knowledge to sun god Vivaswan? Now there's a little detour. Krishna has to explain how come he gave the knowledge. So what he is going to give in the Bhakti Yoga section, right here, right now, is Karma Yoga. How from Karma Yoga we can transcend towards Bhakti. But talking about Karma Yoga, now he has to give some knowledge about himself because of the question Arjun has asked. How do I understand you? How can you, because you are in birth, you're junior to the sun god. So how do I understand? Then Krishna had to give some Bhagavad Gyan about himself. But that was a detour. It wasn't his intention because Arjun had asked. And now Krishna, from 4.5 to 15, he gave that knowledge about himself, about his position. And then from 4:16, which is today's verse onwards, Krishna is seamlessly bringing the topic back to Karma Yoga. He's coming back on the freeway and going towards his destination, which is through Karma Yoga, how we can transcend to Bhakti. So, Pravakshami, now I'm going to speak again on that subject matter, which is the analysis of the process of Karma Yoga. Okay, any questions so far?
Mataji, like you were saying that she was doing that work of distributing food. But those people who are taking the food sandwiches or whatever she was making, are they also involved in that karma?
To receive? Yeah, there is involvement because they're taking, now they have to give back also, right? Sometime or the other, this lifetime, next lifetime, because they've taken, there has to be a reaction, they have to give back. So this is what my understanding is. But if they're taking prasadam, that is also elevating, not just giving help, not just to their body, but it's elevating their consciousness also. So it's beneficial for the giver and for the receiving, and also whoever is receiving. So both parties, there is transcendental karma involved. There's no karma, it's a karma. So the one who's giving, he's giving prasadam, so elevating his consciousness, and the one who's receiving also, there is purity in consciousness coming by honoring prasadam.
The further expanding this, that when we go to relatives' place or some friends' relatives, we go and they're not devotees, they are demigod worshippers. In that case, what should we do? Should we accept? We can't outrightly say, no, we don't take this prasad. It's a dishonor to the food they are offering, also to demigods. What should we do in that case?
Well, if they're close enough, we can request to first offer to Krishna and then offer to the devtas. If they don't
They
want
have
to, they have no understanding.
they have already offered it, and now
Okay.
they are distributing.
Well, I see there are levels. There are people who will not take at all. There are devotees I have heard of, very senior devotees who will not partake of that prasadam. But there are ones who will, see, we have to understand. There's one thing we have to know for certain. If doing something will help the other person come on this path of bhakti, it is all right to do it. By your being a little bit flexible, your love and your care for them, they will be more open to hear from you also. If we shut off and if we are, so uprightly no, blankly tell them no, then they will also close all doors for opening their hearts. So this is another way of, being compassionate to others. In our mind, we can, ask the devtas, I'm honoring this, but I'm sure when it was offered to you, you must have offered to Krishna first and you would have had it. And then only, now it's prasad. So in that attitude, in that mood, we can honor and we can, in that way, respect our relatives who are close to us, not hurting them. And then, in that way, be more closer to them. And then there'll be a time when they'll ask you, what are you doing? Give us some. When we talk to them, because they're more open, they will absorb Krishna consciousness better. Yes, Vishal.
Just to add on to the query which Mataji is saying, if somebody actually forces you to have something which has actually not been offered to Krishna, of course, then one of the preachers over here in Dwarka temple, and so what he tells is that you tell that person, yes, I will have whatever you want to give me, but why don't you do 2 rounds of chanting with me first, then I'll have it. So in case they do not agree to do the chanting, then you can tell them, like, if you cannot do chanting for me, then why should I have this food which is actually not been offered to Krishna?
Yeah, there are different ways. I mean, depending on the preacher's mood and depending on the audience or, people they're interacting with, there can be different deviations. But this is our mood that, keep a pleasant and leave everybody with a good, feeling like that.
I remember Maharaj, in one class, some devotee asked that we have to go to with the clients outside, we have to eat, we have to offer them, make them eat, and we also have to eat. Now, what do we do in that case? Maharaj said, you can have it, but if you start liking it, then that is a danger. So that was a very good thing that I remember. But it's not that you go there because that person cooks very well and that is the motivation to eat. but keeping the relation on is more because they're very, very close people to you.
Correct. Yeah, we don't want to hurt their feelings.
It's not hurting them. See, you're cutting the relation, as you also said, then there is no point in giving them in return, because then the relationship is, they are not receptive even at, and they will say, oh pata nahi de kya log karte hain. So
Yeah, they
we don't
start
want to
calling
be
us a cult and then they say they're too
correct.
stringent. Yeah. So, yeah, just to keep the relations going in a in loving, emotions are always there so that they're always open to listening from you. They're receptive and they can absorb quickly what we are also trying to.
Correct.
Yeah. I even remember one time in a lecture, they were saying that, how in India, Prabhupada, he wanted to make many life members. So these members used to call Prabhupada and his disciples home and offer prasad. So one time in a sabji, there was onion. And Prabhupada, one of the disciples came and he said, we cannot have this, there's onion. And Prabhupada said, just have it. It's okay. He didn't want to hurt the feelings of the, the patron, because they were also from their heart. It wasn't that intentional. And he said, Prabhupada said, there is no onion, just eat, it's okay. So when they came back to the temple, he said, this was just one time I, had to do this because we didn't want to hurt their feelings. So this extremes, Prabhupada can only, tell what is right, what is wrong in that situation, but we can follow the principle. Correct? Okay, let's keep going. Karmano hi api bodhavyam cha vikarmanah akarmanascha bodhavyam gahana karmano gatihi. Somebody can read the translation.
The intricacies of actions are very hard to understand. Therefore, one should properly know what action is, what forbidden action is, and what inaction is.
So, very poetic verse. Karmano hi api bodhavyam. Understand what is karma. Bodhavyam cha vikarmana, and to understand what is vikarma. Karmanascha bodhavyam, and to understand what is akarma. Gahana karmano gatihi. It is very, working of karma is very deep or difficult to understand. So let's look at this again. Karma is, again, it's the same slide, action that produces reaction. Akarma is action that does not produce reaction or non-reactive work. And now karma can be further distributed into two. Action that produces reaction. Sukarma is action that produces good reaction, and vikarma is action that produces bad reaction. And we took the example of offering, making sandwiches and offering, that is sukarma. You get good reactions. And then somebody is in need and we're not helping, or we do something bad to another person, that will give a bad reaction. So Arjuna has the choice of either to renounce the war or to fight the war. Which choice will give what result is what he wants to understand and what Krishna wants to explain to him, and then he should decide what to do. So Gahana is extremely dense, difficult to penetrate with one's intelligence, and Karmano Gati is movement of actions and reactions. The movement of actions and reactions, this is very difficult to understand. What action we did in the past for which this reaction is coming is very difficult to understand. So what action will comprise of non-reactive work, simply becoming peaceful by renouncing the war, or doing my duty in the mood of detachment. And bodhavyam, carefully understand. So if the teacher is saying this, here Krishna is speaking this, bodhavyam. If you see in a class setting, the teacher is speaking and saying, carefully understand, meaning there is some knowledge that is coming further, which I have to carefully understand. for my own benefit. So Krishna is preparing Arjuna. Now what I'm going to speak, or from now on, whatever knowledge I'm giving you is very important for you to understand. So carefully listen. So karma, akarma, vikarma. Karma is working with attachment according to the Shastras. Vikarma is forbidden action, and akarma is action in Krishna consciousness, or action which does not give any reaction. And these are, this is from the purport. I'll skip this, you can read it later. 4.18. Karmanya karma yah pashed akarmani cha karmayaha sa buddhiman manusheshu sayuktaha kritsna karma krit.
One who sees action in action, and action in inaction is intelligent among men, and he is the transcendental position in the transcendental position, although engaged in all sorts of activities. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So we see how this is like a tongue twister, right? Over here, if you see karmani akarmaya pashed akarmani cha karmaya. So not even we can say a tongue twister, it can be a brain twister also, right? If one who sees inaction in action and action in inaction is intelligent among men, it's very difficult to understand what Krishna is trying to tell us. And he's saying he's in a transcendental position. So, sa buddhiman manusheshu, that manushya is buddhiman, sa yukta kritsna karma krit. He is well connected, or he is well harmonized. Who? The one who sees inaction in action and action in inaction. So let's understand again what these terms are. Karma has 4 possible meanings. You can listen very carefully. One is action in general, which could be good action or bad action. Then reaction to action. And then the whole system or cycle of action and reaction, right? Sometimes we say, do you know what karma is? Doing something and getting something in returns, right? So whole cycle of action and reaction. And then I'm getting my karma back is the reaction. I'm doing my karma, which is action. Correct? So far, so good. 4 meanings. And then akarma has 2 possible meanings. One is no action or no work or inactivity. If you remember, if you go back to 4.7, कर्मण्येवाधिकारस्ते मा फलेषु कदाचन मा कर्मफलहेतुर्भुर्माते संगोऽस्तु कर्मणि अकर्मणि. That is a karma, right? Not doing your duty, which is no action. And the other one, which we just did in 16th verse, is non-reactive work. When we do anything for Krishna, there is no reaction. So karma has 4 possible meanings and akarma has 2. Somebody, if you can repeat, so then I will also know that we're all on the same page. It's right here on the screen.
Action in general, karma is okay.
Go ahead, Mataji.
Please, please.
Action, karma has 4 possible meanings. Action in general is good and or bad. Reaction to action, and the whole system of karma, that is cycle, law of actions and reactions. And akarma has 2 possible meanings: no action, that is no work or inactivity, and non-reactive work. Hare Krishna.
Krishna. Okay, so now can somebody tell us what is the meaning of karma and what is the meaning of akarma?
Mataji,
Karma is karma.
Go ahead,
and
Vishal Prabhu,
akarma
and then
is
you can also answer Mataji. Go ahead. Vishal Prabhu?
karma is the one for which we get the reaction of the action, and akarma is the one for which action we do not get the reaction.
There are 2 possible meanings of akarma, right?
I just forgotten the other one.
Okay. Anybody else who remembers all the meanings of karma and the meanings of akarma?
Hare Krishna Mataji. Should I try?
Hare Krishna.
So, akarma will have two parts, where is non-action, which is not doing your one's prescribed duty. And then the other part of akarma is no reaction to the duty. So it is an action, but because it is in Krishna consciousness or offered to Krishna, that is why it becomes akarma. Those are the two parts of akarma.
So
And
one
then-
second. When you're giving definition, it would be more proper to say there are two meanings of akarma. Right? If you say two parts, meaning one can have another part, but they're completely different. So two meanings of akarma, one is non-reactive work and one is no work at all. Akarma is just sitting down doing nothing, akarma. And the other one, he is offering worship to Radharani and Krishna. That is also akarma because there is no reaction to that work. Right? So that is a karma, two parts. And what is karma? Go ahead, Ipsitaji.
Yeah, karma has four meanings to it. One is just doing general action, which can give us good or bad results. The second meaning is the reaction to the action that is received. And then, sorry, the third meaning is the reaction to the action that is received. And the fourth meaning is the whole cycle or the process, the whole system of the action reaction.
So the first meaning that you said, reaction, is not what it is, action. So good action, helping someone, bad action, robbing someone. Right? And then the third meaning is reaction. Reaction can also be good or bad, but reaction. And then fourth is, what was the fourth one you said?
The whole system.
The whole cycle of action and reaction. Perfect. One more person. If somebody else can also tell us four possible meanings of karma and two possible meanings of akarma.
Mataji, I can try. So karma, the first meaning is action, doing good action, doing bad action. So these are the two meanings of action. The third meaning of karma is the reaction. So out of the good action, a good reaction. Out of the bad action, bad reaction. And the third is the fourth meaning of karma is the whole cycle of actions and reactions.
Perfect.
And then we have akarma, which has two meanings. Akarma, one is not doing any action by itself, just sitting and not doing your action. This is what Krishna was telling Arjuna, which is you not fighting is not doing your karma. And the second is the reaction when offered to Krishna, the action that we offer first in Krishna consciousness will have no reaction to it.
So no reaction. Perfect. Keshav Krishna Prabhu, did you also unmute? You want to give the answer?
Mataji, I think it's been already given. So I very nicely explained. Thank you.
Okay, so we'll keep going. What action will comprise of non-reactive work? Krishna has repeatedly spoken and urged Arjuna to work selflessly with detachment, which will bring freedom, which will bring about freedom from bondage.
Mataji,
2.47,
I have
3.8.
doubt here.
Yes.
Sorry to interrupt, Mataji.
No problem.
Instead of making that as three sections, we can just tell that karma, action and reaction, right, Mataji? Either it's a good or bad, the respective reaction we will get, and both together is itself a cycle. Right, Mataji?
When we're using the word karma, this is the way the meaning can be. This is how it's broken down. So action in general can be good or bad, which is again sukarma or vikarma. We'll come into that. Right? So if somebody is doing in Sanskrit, if you're talking, so I mean, I don't know how to converse in Sanskrit, but you will use the word sukarma or vikarma. And then in another context, if you're talking about the reactions, you will say, now you will also say karma, but it will not mean sukarma or vikarma, it will mean reaction. That is also karma. Correct? So if we can also bring everything in one definition also, but the breaking down denotes how it is used in some context, this context or that context. That's why it's broken down.
Got it, Mataji. That reaction to action, I was thinking how it will karma. Usually we'll tell, right? This means something in general we will express because of my karma. I am facing this one. That is a reaction, right,
Correct.
Mataji? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm
That's
getting my
about it.
karma back. Because of my karma,
Karma
I'm
back.
getting this reaction,
Yes,
meaning
yes,
I did my action, now I'm
yes,
getting
yes,
reaction.
yes, reaction.
But
Yeah, I got it,
yeah,
Mataji.
I'm
That was
facing, yeah.
oh. I got that third part has the whole system, right? I thought it is covering. Then why we are having that second point? I got confused. Now I got it. Thank you.
See, the fourth definition of karma, the whole cycle of action and reaction, can be used in context of, do you understand how karma works? That is the whole cycle of action and reaction. So that in that context, we're using the word karma. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So Krishna has urged Arjuna again and again to not do his duty, right? To do his duty, not to not do his duty. He's urged him to do your duty with detachment in 2.47, 3.8, 3.9. And karmani akarmaya pashed. So one who sees that even when somebody is doing activity, there is no karmic reaction or non-reactive work. So why is Arjun is thinking, if I do this action of fighting, there is a bondage. I will be incurring sin. I'm killing my own relatives. But Krishna again and again is saying, you do your duty, don't be attached to the reaction, then you will not get any reaction. So that kind of action you should do, which will not create any bondage, non-reactive work. And second line that Krishna has used is akarmani cha karmaya. Okay, so let's understand this again. Karmani akarmaya pashed. One who sees action in inaction, right? Doing activity, but there is no reaction. Easy? I'm doing my activity of fighting, but I will not get any reaction because I'm not doing because I want this kingdom, because I want to please Krishna. So although I'm doing my karma, right, there is a karma, there is no reaction. Second is akarmani cha karmaya. What action will comprise of non-reactive work? Krishna said that when someone controls the senses but meditates on the sense objects, such as person is actually indulging in sense gratification. Remember when he said you shouldn't be, there are people who renounce, but they keep their attachments are still there. They're thinking of all those and they're so attached in within, but outwardly they've become sadhus, right? Then they're only cheating themselves and others. So that kind of action, although he's not doing anything, he's just sitting down trying to meditate, but inside he's attached to so many things and he's pondering, he's meditating on those sense objects, then although he's not doing anything, although he's doing a karma, still there is karma because he will get reactions, correct? So one who sees that even when someone is not doing any activity, there is karmic reaction, there is a reactive work. Also, we took two more examples, right, of cop and a doctor. Cop is, or a policeman is standing and there is, a bank being robbed, but he's not doing anything, right? He will be culpable because they'll say, you didn't do it. He'll say, I didn't do anything. Why are you punishing me? Yeah, because you didn't do anything. You have to face a reaction. So, sa buddhiman manusheshu, wise person sees that action is not reactive when done with proper consciousness, and inaction when done with improper consciousness is reactive. If you have any doubt, let's clarify now.
The same thing, no? Sadhu in disguise.
Correct. Sa yukta kritsna karma krit, and such a wise person can be engaged in different kinds of works, but still such a person will stay free from karmic bondage because of having the vision of knowledge, and he stays well connected. Sayukta, he stays well connected because he knows which action will bring reaction, and doing action will not bring reaction, and not doing such action with that consciousness will bring reaction. Yeah, like children in a class, let's raise hands if everything is clear. Sonia ji, you raised your hand.
I think,
Maybe you
I
have a
think,
doubt.
I think you have to hear it many times to get it absorbed in the mind. Right now, I will not at least be able to. But I think
Mataji.
when you hear it repeatedly, then it will go inside.
Think of just these two examples. Arjuna fighting the war, it's action, but there is no reaction because he's wanting to please Krishna. He doesn't want the kingdom. Second is the cop not doing any action, but he's getting a reaction because he didn't help when there was a need. Right? So these two. There is action in inaction and inaction
In
in action.
action, there is action. Correct.
Yes, Sonia Mataji.
Mataji, I'm just trying to bring this whole in our real life, in our day-to-day scenarios. So far, what I'm hearing is the karma, which is action, meaning doing something. But in our day-to-day life, when we are talking about others, gossiping, even that is action, correct?
Yes.
Although we are not doing something harmful to anyone, we're not particularly taking any action, but like we have to like keep our ears closed when, whether it's in offices, whether it's in families, it's just a normal habit for people to just talk about, someone. So even that is vikarma, I would say.
That is, to what extent it's vikarma, I don't know, but for ourselves, yes. Because in that time, we could have utilized for Krishna, we're using it to kind of contaminate our own consciousness by either hearing or speaking. It just contaminates us, and our consciousness is also not elevated, right? It goes down. So we in a human form are trying to purify our consciousness, but by gossiping, it just puts more dust. So we should stay away
Thank you.
from hearing and from speaking. Yes. Yes, Ipsita ji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. I thought I understood this, and the second time it confused me. When we said enact a karma and it had two meanings, and now we're referring to action in inaction, how is it possible to not do an action? It comes down to like even like you said, the lady sitting on the chair, that's the action of sitting. Like how Krishna had said at some point, like if we are in a human body, whether we are eating or not eating is also a choice. It's also an action of not eating. So how is it possible to even, I mean, we are doing our prescribed duties and offering it to Krishna.
I got your question. For Arjuna, if you take his example, him not fighting is a karma. Where he's just sitting and saying, I will not fight, right? Krishna said in 2.47, a karmani, right? Don't be attached to not doing your duty. So not doing our duty is a karma. I know, but Krishna also says you can't even, to live, you even breathing, that's also action, correct? So yeah, over here, just understand with the context, not doing your duty is a karma. If you're saying, I don't want to kill, I don't want to fight, that is a karma because you're running away from your duty. Even if you're sitting and doing something else. Yes, go ahead.
So in that meaning, then akarma can give so the two meanings of akarma, then if one is not doing the prescribed action, which is akarma, but that in that case, that akarma will give us a reaction, right? Because we did not do our prescribed duty. So one meaning of akarma can still give us a reaction.
It does. That's what we're understanding, right? The cop not doing his duty, correct? He's not doing his duty, he's doing a karma, but it has a reaction, meaning he is understanding this is very bewildering because although he's not doing anything, it is considered action only because there is a reaction coming.
So in that sense, the true sense of a karma, which is not getting any reaction, there is only one way possible, is to do your prescribed duties and offer it to Krishna.
To Krishna,
Everything
where
else,
there will be no reaction. Yes. Yes.
even one part of a karma is giving it. Thank you so much.
Perfect. Perfect.
Yeah,
Yes.
Mataji, like she said, no, that eating or sitting in a chair, there the karma is not binding anybody, not her or anybody else. It is your choice how you sit. But when it is kind of when you are supposed to do some work and you are not doing,
And
then
just
it
sitting.
becomes then just sitting.
Yeah.
That becomes a karma. The
Yeah.
karma.
For example, she's sitting when her child is hungry and she's just sitting. Will give a reaction because she should have gotten up and done her duty. Yeah, correct. Wonderful. So Krishna, we did this, right? Krishna wants Arjuna to be wise and understand that if you fight this war with proper motivation, with detachment and knowledge, then it will be like a karma. It will not produce any reaction. On the other hand, if you give up action due to selfish considerations, but then you continue contemplation and attachment, then that will lead to karmic reaction.
Mataji, this also, no, Prabhupada gives the example of that if a military person kills somebody because he is supposed to do that karma, he is given that responsibility to kill. But if somebody who is not given that responsibility, he does that action, there will be reaction to that.
Perfect. And in the same example, if the military person is on the battleground, right, he is killing, there is no karma attached. But when he comes home and kills his neighbor, he has the gun at home, then there is reaction. The same person. Yeah.
Sorry,
Yes,
Mataji.
no problem.
I am so sorry. I think we're delaying the class. I talk to you totally about this after the class. But I wanted to understand, why are we putting that meaning of a karma when it is giving a reaction under the heading of a karma? Because
Krishna has given it. If you go back to 227, he says a karmani. If you don't do your duty, right? That is a karmani.
Okay. Thank you.
So, Mataji, so in all the karma meanings we discussed, the akarma, and then in the second part, non-reactive work is the only one that qualifies, right? In the sense, you're doing your duty in Krishna consciousness, which will not give you any reactions.
Yeah.
The only one which we should be.
No, the other one also, not doing your duties also in the context. Yeah, if we understand that the meaning, go deeper into the meaning, yes. But when you're talking to someone, we're talking about the context. Krishna also has used a karma in the sense of not getting reaction is not the sense that he's using in 2.47. We can go back to 2.47. Let's see what Krishna is saying there. Mate sango swakarmani, never be attached to not doing your duty. He's used the word akarma there.
But
not in the sense that you will not get reaction, in the sense you will get reaction because you're not doing your duty. Correct? So Krishna himself has used the word akarma in the sense that you're not doing your duty, which will give reaction to you. So yes, giving reaction is one part of understanding the word. But when we're using a word in context, we can use it. You're doing a karma, meaning you're not doing your duty. You're doing a karma when we see a person offering bhoga to Krishna. You're doing a karma because this will not give you reaction. And a person sitting down when the child is hungry and not doing anything, you're doing a karma because it is your duty to do it and you're not doing it. Reaction apart, right? You're not doing your duty, which is a karma.
Okay,
Let's keep going.
Then, Mataji, in 4.16, when we discussed the definition of karma and akarma, we said karma is action that produces reaction, and akarma is action that does not produce a reaction. Then, should
One
we?
of the meanings of a karma. Let's
One
go
of
back. A karma has two possible meanings. One is non-reactive work. It's not that both are non-reactive work. One is non-reactive work, and the
No,
other is
Mataji,
no
before
action.
this slide, when we spoke, when we introduced in 4.16 the concept of a karma and karma, a little before this, before
Yeah.
16, yes, Mataji.
Yeah. Non-reactive work.
Yes, Mataji, this point.
So this is one of the meanings, not both the meanings. Karma
So
is
we are
action
this
that
is an example of when you talk about how Krishna builds up. Like, because in when we were in chapter 2, our understanding was this much. So he introduced the logic of a karma in this. And as we are proceeding, we're going deeper and deeper into the
he licks
layers
like
of the
fashion,
work.
right? He gives more understanding, more understanding. Yes. So here, if you see when he says, let's look at the verse. What is karma and what is a karma? People, it is very bewildering, right? It is mohita. Kavayo, even the wise people are get bewildered. Like you all are, we all are getting bewildered. Correct. So it is very bewildering. But what is karma and what is a karma? He's in general telling, right? Now he didn't say karma, which is reaction and which is action or good action, bad action. He's not giving the whole definition, right? But we are breaking it down and understanding the whole thing from what he spoke earlier and now what he's speaking.
Slowly, like peeling the layers.
Building.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank
Mataji,
so we were.
Mataji, I have one question that applies to life. So there was one Maharaj in our tradition who said that he was talking about japa. I'm sorry, I'm forgetting his name, and I don't want to take the time to look it up. But he was saying that when you perform japa, that if you have your mind fully listening and like speaking and hearing the mantra, that then you are it's an offering to Krishna. He said if you do it with your mind wandering, you will get sukha. But if you do it with your mind completely immersed in Krishna, then you will get bhakti. So I understand that sukha also produces dukkha. So you have that karmic reaction going on from that. But if you are praying.
So I think I understand your question. When we chant Krishna's names, there's no karma there. It is bhakti only. There is no reaction. Even if you're chanting without concentration. Okay, yes, you're getting sukha. Sukha not in the sense of material sukha. It is transcendental sukha only. You're getting joy and you're getting happiness and satisfaction because it's connected with Krishna's name. So it is nothing of this world.
Okay.
Right?
Okay. So even if you have a not very good japa day, you're still involving yourself in transcendental.
Yes, anything in connection with Krishna or his name is beyond this world. It is in transcendence.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. Yasya sarvasara samarambhaha kama sankalpa varjitaha jnanagni dagda karmanam tam ahu panditam buddhaha. Have somebody read the translation. We have to go fast because
one is understood to be in full knowledge, whose every endeavor is devoid of desire for sense gratification. He is said by sages to be a worker for whom the reactions of work have been burned up by the fire of perfect knowledge.
Okay, so let's understand this. 4.19. Yasya sarva samarambha. All of whose endeavors. Samarambha. Yasya sarva. All of whose endeavors or attempts. Kama sankalpa varjita. They are free from desire for gratification. So kama is gratification and sankalpa is this is my desire, I want to do it. And varjita meaning they're devoid, they're free of, right, sense gratification. Gyan Agni Dagda Karmanam, the fire of knowledge, Gyan Agni, Dagda Karmanam, his karmic reactions are burnt by that knowledge. Tam Ahu Panditam Buddha, by the wise, such a person is considered Pandit. If I listen to somebody who is speaking French, right? 2 sentences in French. I'm like, wow, this person is a scholar in French. Now, that person might only know those 2 sentences and nothing else in the language French. But because I also, and then he's speaking whatever. And even the 2 sentences that that person spoke in French was broken down and meaningless or whatever. But because I didn't know, I feel he's a scholar. But if I was a scholar in French, and I listen to somebody speak in French, I will able to tell, right, whether that person knows French or not. So here Krishna is saying the wise, for the wise or by the wise people, such a person is considered Pandit. So if you take this deeply, more deeply, even in scriptural knowledge, we should understand from the wise who are like Prabhupada. We're reading his books because he is Pandita, right? He's wise and he's giving us knowledge given by the wise. Commentaries by Sridhar Swami, Narottam Das. So he knows who the Pandits are and he's giving us. So Prabhupada, in this context, he's also a Pandit and he's also wise. But because he's wise, he knows who the Pandit are and he's giving us their knowledge and his realized knowledge also. So this is what Krishna is telling us over here. Tam ahu panditam buddha. So pandita is alag, buddhiman is different. So yasya sarva samarambha, by whose endeavors, let's understand this. Of all of whose endeavors are, clearly Krishna does not endorse inaction. So he's not saying one who gives up all endeavors. He's saying he's endeavoring, but those endeavors are, whose attempts are free from the desire for material gratification. So when one works with material desires, then there's always a calculation of profit or loss, right? And if there's going to be loss, people will not be inspired to do that work. For example, people invest in shares. I'm not promoting that, but just giving an example. People will only put in their money or invest their money where they see profit, right? They will not put in money where there will be loss. So people, their inspiration goes down when they see loss coming in the future. So they will not be wanting to do that kind of work where there is a loss in the future. But sometimes one needs to work for a higher cause, whether there's chances of success or failure, for the higher cause of self-realization or for pleasing Krishna. When we started Bhakti Lata, which is a program for women only, at that time I was talking to Tukaram Prabhu, and a really nice thing that he said was, we hadn't even started, we were talking about it. And he said, you start with the program, even if one person comes, one woman comes, or nobody comes, still it's a success. And I couldn't understand that time. Now I'm understanding, because the intention is to please Krishna. When we want to do some service for Krishna, it is the intention that Krishna sees. It is not the success or failure. So we do, sir, we go out for book distribution. Visheshika Prabhu says, you are picking up the books and going out is success in itself. Whether somebody takes the book or not takes the book is something else, but just the process of you endeavoring to please Krishna, there is success in itself. So free from the desire for material gratification, still people work because there is no desire. Working for that higher selfless motive leads to Gyan Agni Dagda Karmanam, the fire of knowledge burns the karmic reaction. So the knowledge is Atmagyan over here. I'm not this body, I'm the soul, and I'm here to realize the self. Or it can be Bhagavad Gyan also, which Krishna has given from 5 to 15. Remember when Arjuna asked that how am I to understand? And Krishna gave knowledge about himself. Right? So much knowledge, so many verses he spoke about himself. So that knowledge, or even Atmagyan that he gave in the 2nd chapter, that you're not the body, you are the soul. So with that understanding, when we work without expecting anything in result, Krishna says that knowledge burns your reactions. Whatever work that is, that burns the reaction. So, and this knowledge burns all karmic reactions. Why? Because what brings reaction is not the action, but the intentions. Tam ahu pandita buddha, panditam buddha. By the wise, such a person is considered pandit. We have to evaluate by the standards of those who know, not those who don't know. The wise people recognize who is pandit, and in this age, there's a beautiful verse in the Bhagavatam, Swavid Varahoshtra Kharai. You must have heard this verse. Many times Prabhupada used to repeatedly tell us, men who are like dogs, hogs, camels, and asses, praise those men who never listen to the transcendental pastimes of Lord Krishna and the deliverer from evil. So we don't want to follow people like dogs, hogs, camels, and asses who are just running after sense gratification and they have no inclination for transcendence. You can read this later, Prabhupada's purport. Krishna is urging all of us through Arjuna to follow that standard, that even if a person is engaged in an activity like war, unselfishly motivated, that is the person who's learned. That this is the vision of the true knower, and take up your duty unselfishly and become a true knower. Let's keep going. 20th verse. Tyaktva karma phala sangam. Nitya tripto nirashayaha karmani pravrittopi naiva kinchit karoti saha. Somebody can read the translation.
Abandoning all attachment to the results of the activity, ever satisfied and independent, he performs no fruitive action, although engaged in all kinds of undertaking.
Thank you, Prabhu. So, Tyaktva karma phala sangam, giving up the attachments to the fruit of karma phala. Karma phala is the fruit of your work, right? Tyaktva, giving up. Karma phala sangam, that attachment to the fruit one gives up. Nitya tripto nirashaya, which is being constantly satisfied. Karmani abhi pravrittopi, not taking shelter of anything which is material. Naiva kinchit karoti saha, as if such a person. No, wait. Karmani abhi pravrittopi is such a person may do karma. Karmani, he's doing karma. Abhi pravrittopi, he may do karma according to his nature. Naiva kinchit karoti sa, as if the person is not doing anything. He's not even doing a slight action there. So, tyaktva karma phala sangam, giving up attachment to the fruit of work. Tyaga, here Krishna is saying, using the word tyaga, which we understand normally in general. Somebody has, renounced and gone to the forest or given up his family, and, tyag is something that we in general think or speak about in that context. But here, not in terms of physical renunciation, rather something much deeper, which is emotional distancing and disentanglement. When one is detached internally and not taking shelter of the fruits of his work, then he can be nitya tripto nirashaya, always satisfied and not taking shelter of anything or any one material. And because one realizes that what is going to give shelter is not the fruit of work, which is temporary, but the loving reciprocation with the Lord, that which is eternal. So because the temporary that I see is not worth taking shelter for. People get detached from those reaction, the fruits of action. Nitya Tripto Nirashaya, always satisfied within his relationship with Krishna as he had taken shelter of Krishna. So which is Krishna Ashrita. Nirashaya, not taking shelter of anything or anyone material, which is what is here in the 4th chapter. When Krishna says Nirashaya, don't take shelter of anything material. But later on, Krishna will give more layers, right? More knowledge. He will start talking about 7th chapter is where Bhakti Yoga starts from. Right now, we're in Karma Yoga section. That is the focus right now, from Karma Yoga leading up to Bhakti. But in 7th chapter, from 7th to the 12th chapters, Krishna will talk about Bhakti directly. And there Krishna will say Mad Ashraya. Here he's saying Nirashraya, right? Don't take shelter of material. There he'll say, take shelter of me. Mad Ashraya, be situated in me directly. So over here, even if one acts in the material world, but is not emotionally entangled in the material things, it is as if one is doing nothing, not incurring any karmic reaction, and will not be bound. So one will not be bound. There's one O missing there. Okay, so this is the purport from Prabhupada. Let's keep going to 3 more verses. We'll do them quickly. Nirashir yata chittatma tyaktva sarva parigraha shariram kevalam karma kurvan napnoti kilbisham. These are easy verses. Such a man of understanding acts with mind and intelligence perfectly controlled, gives up all sense of proprietorship over his possessions, and acts only for the bare necessities of life. Thus working, he is not affected by sinful reactions. So again and again, Krishna is talking about how you can be bondage free. Even while acting, even while doing karma, you can be bondage free. One second. Okay, so Nirashi is Nirasha, if you see in the vernacular, how we use it in maybe Hindi, is disappointment, right? Or frustration. Nirasha ho rahi hai. And Nirashi in Sanskrit means not as disappointment due to unfulfilled desires, but freedom from bondage to desires. It's totally different. When one has desires and they're not fulfilled, there's Nirasha for us in Hindi. But in Sanskrit, when we understand the word Nirashi, which means because we're free from the bondage of desires, we are Nirashi, we're fulfilled within. So real cause of frustration is not the unfulfillment of desires, but the desire to fulfill desires. Beautiful, right? As one of the quotes, freedom is not achieved by satisfying desire, but by eliminating it. To the degree we are attached to material desires, which keep us locked in material consciousness, to that degree we are deprived of spiritual consciousness. Like the question asked by Sonia Mataji, if somebody talks gossip, how is that reactive? Talks or hears. To that degree, when we are locked in material consciousness, to that degree we are depriving ourselves of spiritual consciousness. Real frustration is lack of connection with Krishna. And when we get disappointed with material life, then we start our spiritual journey with earnest, partly for our spiritual growth and sustenance. When 2 people go to a doctor, I often give this example, which is really easy to understand. There are 2 people going to a doctor. One is a patient, really suffering. There's a bad stomach ache. Every day it's been happening and it's like excruciating. Almost that person thinks I'll die because of this pain. And the friend says, okay, I'll come with you. So 2 people are going. One is suffering. The other person is suffering with seeing his friend suffering, but he himself is not going through the pain. And the doctor says, there is nothing wrong with you, but there's no disease, but this vitamin in your body is so low, because just giving a vivid example is not genuine, And he says, okay, take these vitamins. You just need to take these every day and your pain will go away. And then he gives another bottle to the friend also. You should also take, so this pain doesn't come. Both of them go home taking their bottles. Who do you think will every day take that supplement or that vitamin? The one who's going through the pain, right? The other one, whenever he remembers, for him, taking that vitamin is not as, question of dying and living, as for the friend who's going through the pain. So when we get disappointed or when there is suffering in material life, or there's a challenge, then we start the spiritual journey with earnest. This is my life, right? For the other person, this is part of life. But bhakti, for the people who are genuinely seeking, or they're determined, for them, that is their life. And it is vital for our spiritual growth and sustenance. And this is a story of Pingala. If anybody knows the story, we're not going to get into it, but briefly, she was a prostitute every day looking for customers, and one day there was nobody coming and she was so frustrated, and suddenly, spur of the moment, she gets that realization that if I take shelter of that Lord, let's look at the verse, really nice. Material desire, which was her desire to fulfill her bodily needs and get money. Material desire is undoubtedly the cause of the greatest unhappiness, because she was so frustrated, right? So disturbed that nobody is coming. And freedom from such desire is the cause of greatest happiness. When she, in that spur of moment, when she realized, oh my gosh, what am I doing in life? All this consciousness, if I focus on Krishna, who can fulfill all my desires, then my life will be perfect. So therefore, completely cutting off her desire to enjoy so-called lovers, Pingala very happily went to sleep. So she was so calm and satisfied and joyous within, because she found that connection with the Lord. So from bottomless loneliness to absolute happiness. Shariram kevalam karma, one gives up the attachment for working to satisfy the senses. Rather, one works for spiritual realization. That's why one works for just maintaining the body. Krishna says, Kurvan napnoti kilbisham. One does not accumulate karmic reactions. One just works to maintain the body. And these are examples: cashier receiving money in the bank. When he takes money or gives money, he is not attached, because it's not his money going and coming, right? So in this world, things happen, they don't happen. We shouldn't get attached, because by understanding everything is Krishna's and these things are temporary, they'll come and go. Soldier killing people, and Arjuna also fighting for Dharma Yudh on behalf of the Lord, versus Duryodhan, who's fighting for his own selfish plan. The second verse, Yadrichalava santushto dvandva tito vimatsaraha samasiddhava siddhocha kritvapi na nibadhyate. He who is satisfied with gain, which comes of its own accord, who is free from duality and does not envy, who is steady in both success and failure, is never entangled, although performing actions. So, Yadricha Labha Santushto, with whatever comes on its own accord, without hankering for more and without becoming greedy to accumulate more and more. Whatever Krishna is giving or sending, I'm satisfied. Yadricha, by the will of providence. And Dvandva Tito Vimatsara, one surpasses the dualities, free from envy. So Dvandva is the dualities, and Matsara is special kind of envy. So Matsar is envy, free from envy, which is very difficult to overcome, right? Why does that person have more? But the solution is, if we understand material things can never make one happy. So why should I be envious of anyone? Even if the other person has so much, it is not going to make us happy, right? Or that person happy. In the end, it's only the connection with Krishna which can make us happy. So one who goes beyond or transcends the dvandva duality, which is happiness and distress, success and failure, and envy. Then what happens when one is not too possessive about the results of his activities? One doesn't get too excited in success, not too depressed in failure, is not a victim of extreme emotions. Kritvapi na nibaddhate, never entangled, although performing actions. We see even in our gurus and our acharyas, they always have this peace on their face, right? They're never too elated and never too depressed. They're always equipoised and happy all the time, right? Because there's happiness within. Okay, next one. Gata sangasya muktasya jnatva jnana avastita chetasaha jnana ayacharata karma samagram pravaliyate. The work of a man who is unattached to the modes of material nature and who is fully situated in transcendental knowledge merges entirely into transcendence. So it's interesting. Krishna is not saying the person merges in transcendence. He's saying the work of the person merges because there is no reaction. So one whose attachment have gone away. He's situated in transcendental knowledge. He acts in the mood of service, doesn't incur reactions, merges into transcendence. It's not that he merges, the work will merge, which means that his work will become transcendental. Really easy to understand, right? So let's read it again. One whose attachments have gone away, is situated in transcendental knowledge, acts in the mood of sacrifice, he doesn't incur reactions. Or his actions, they are merged in transcendence. And Prabhupada, we can read this. So this is the summary of this whole section 16 to 23. Acting in pure devotional service is akarma, free from reactions. And this is because karmic reaction is a result of fruitive consciousness and not the activity itself. So we can think of Arjuna when he's acting, he's not getting any karmic reaction of fighting the war because he's doing it to please Krishna. He's not attached to the fruits of his action, which is maybe victory or being the king of the whole earth. He's not attached to that. He's just attached to pleasing Krishna. Okay, so here's the game. Everybody's ready? Yes, Harini Mataji or Parmesh Prabhu.
Mataji, what do we say of agnostic people? Because they are neither religious nor spiritual, but they might not be very attached. So what is their mode of consciousness? Or
Whatever
will they also
there'll be a
incur
reaction because it's not anything they're doing, even if they're not attached, there will be reaction because it's not attached to Krishna. Very simple. Anything not attached to Krishna will give reactions. Okay, so you have a pencil and a paper or pen and a paper. On your paper, you can write down 1 to 20. In each line, just 1, and then 2, 3, 4, 5, till 20. Very easy game, and I think you'll like it. It'll be fun. We did it with the children, so they really liked it. So there are 20 questions. They're not questions. You just see the picture on the screen and you have to write whether it is sukarma, vikarma, or akarma. Now, akarma is 2 meanings, right? Not doing your duty, just sitting idle. The other is doing your duty, but not getting the reactions. And there's only one, which is in connection with Krishna, which does not have reaction. Okay, so everybody's ready. The last two, 19th and 20th, are one is not connected to this, the other is connected, but those are bonus ones, the 19th and the 20th. So if you've written 1 to 20, we can start now, right? If you haven't, just let me know. Everybody has? All right, so we'll begin now. And I'll keep moving the screen quickly. This is the first one. Second one. Third. Fourth. Fifth. Sixth. Seventh. Eighth. Ninth. 10th. 11th. 12th. 13th. 14th. 15th. 16th. 17th. 18th. 18th. Okay, here is the bonus one. Oh, not this one. It's coming up. 19th. This is the bonus one. And one more question. Name the chapters. Oops, they're right there. So in your paper, write the chapter names. I had to, hide them, but somehow they're there. So you can write down the name of the chapters without looking at your Bhagavad Gita. Chapter number 1, the name, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now you can correct your answers. I'll give the answers. You can correct them. And then we'll see whoever has them all correct, you can raise your hand. Even the icon will do. Let's see if you have them all correct. The first one is Sukarma. Second is Akarma. Third is Vikarma. Fourth is Vikarma. Fifth is Akarma. Sixth is Vikarma. Seventh is Akarma. Eighth is Sukarma. Ninth is Akarma. 10th is Vikarma. 11th is Vikarma. 12th is Akarma. 13th is Sukarma. 14th is Akarma. 15th is Akarma. 16th is Sukarma. 17th is Sukarma. 18th is Vikarma. 19th is Akarma. And 20th is Karma. Everybody got it right? Okay, who did not get all of them right?
I did not. I got 3 wrong, Mataji.
3 wrong?
Yeah.
Let's look at those which ones you got wrong so we can clarify.
First, second, and 10th I got wrong.
You got all right.
First, second, and 10th. Okay, let's look at those. First is Sukarma, helping someone, right?
Sukarma only I better. Okay. Second was Akarma.
Akarma, yes. Not
That's
doing
right.
anything.
Second, that is right. Second, 10th was Sukarma.
Akarma.
Akarma.
No,
This
sorry,
was wrong.
Vikarma.
No, this was wrong.
This
10th
was
was
wrong.
wrong.
You said Sukarma for this?
I said Sukarma.
Okay. All right.
Ma-
Anybody else who got any wrong so we can look at those?
Mataji?
Yes.
Mataji, I got
Mataji?
18th wrong. I want to check that. 18th one.
So telling lies, Pinocchio, right?
Oh, I didn't get that, Mataji. I thought he what? I don't know about this cartoon, so I didn't do anything. Okay.
Okay,
Got
okay. Yeah, so this is Pinocchio who used to tell lies. That's why the nose became bigger. Okay, so this is Vikarma.
Mataji?
Yes.
Mataji, could you please do 14 through 17?
The 14th is Akarma, not doing anything.
Yeah.
15th is, what is it? Akarma also, because in connection with Krishna. This is Sukarma, the girl is doing her studies nicely, properly. And 17th is also Sukarma, doing the proper duty of cleaning the dishes.
Okay, yes, I think it just got going too fast for my brain. I think that's what it is. Okay, because it makes sense to me. Yes.
That's why it's called game, right? We go fast.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah, so the 15th and the 16th, I think I got it the opposite. Okay.
Okay. Okay, anybody else wants to
Yeah.
clarify?
Mataji,
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Mataji, I could not distinguish the 10th one between karma and vikarma. That's why I didn't write it. All the others I got right.
Okay, yeah, they're fighting, so I feel and hurting each other, so we karma.
Okay, okay. Thanks, Mataji. Thanks.
Mataji, the 12th one. What is the 12th one?
So they're worshipping Krishna. I know the pitch is little
Karma.
hazy. Yeah.
It's Sukarma only, right?
No, this is Akarma. In connection to Krishna, right? Akarma. There's no reaction.
Okay, okay. I do accept karma. Okay, got it.
Okay, anybody else?
Mataji, I got 1 to 19 all correct. I'm shocked myself. I thought I'll be one of the one with wrong answers. But 20th I didn't get.
So remember karma, one of the definition is the whole cycle of action and reaction.
Yeah.
So this is karma.
Yeah, it's the concept.
I thought we had
That's
to
why
pick
it was a
one.
little different and a little more difficult because it didn't have those categories, sukarma, vikarma, and akarma. But this is
so
karma.
that's why I didn't. I thought we have to pick only from those three.
Huh.
So
That's what I
Okay.
thought. Yes.
Okay. Everybody else wrote karma?
No,
Yeah.
Mataji, I wrote so karma and vikarma both. This is a cycle. Right? I wrote
Which is also good. Cycle of action and reaction. Oh, but yours was sukarma and vikarma, which is only action. You didn't mention reaction. So this is
Yes.
the whole cycle, which is karma.
Mataji, quick question on
Yes.
the 16th one, Mataji.
Which one?
16th. Yes. So Mataji, for this I wrote because it is a child's prescribed duty at that age to learn and study. So by that logic, although it's getting a reaction because she's doing, but because it's her prescribed duty, I wrote a karma, but one of the meanings which do your prescribed duty but get the reaction.
Whatever duties will do will give a reaction for sure, because if they're done with detachment, but here it's just a simple logistic thing. You do something,
One of the meaning of akarma is that, right? Do your prescribed duties, even if it gives you reaction. Do your prescribed duty in akarma.
Akarma is not doing your duty.
Sorry. Yes. Thank you.
This is sukarma because she's doing.
Sukarma because she's doing her prescribed duty.
If she had Bhagavad Gita in her hand, it would have become akarma.
Yes. Thank you.
Correct? Okay. Okay, good. And this is observing the armies on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, contents of the Gita summarized, Karma Yoga and transcendental knowledge. You also had a video which we can watch maybe in the next, or if you want to watch, you can watch. It's just 3-4 minutes. It just shows, okay, hold on. It just shows how doing sukarma will bring good reaction.
Mataji, I want to tell this game was really nice, Mataji. Thanks for this.
I'm glad.
ไหนดูสิเอาอะไรไปออกมานี่เอาไปทำอะไรเนี่ยฮะถามว่าเอาไปทำอะไรเอาไปให้แม่เจ๊แป๊บนึง
แม่ป่วยเหรอ
อย่าทำอย่างนี้อีกนะ
หมวยเกาเหลาจ๋อนั่งเลยครับนั่งเลย
ป๊า
จัดไปสั่งมาเร็วต่ออะไร
So beautiful. Hold on. Beautiful. I thought it's really nice video to see how when we do good, good comes back through karma. Having explained that sacrifice uncovers Brahman, Krishna will now list different types of sacrifices. So this sacrifice which uncovers Brahman, he's going to talk about in the 24th verse, which we haven't done yet. I was supposed to do, but we'll do it in the next class. And we'll see how attaining jnana through yajna or sacrifice. He's going to start talking about, he briefly spoke about sacrifice earlier, right? The cycle of sacrifice. Now he's going to give us more details about what kinds of sacrifice we can do, where we can attain jnana through these sacrifices. All right. So any final questions or comments?
Mataji, I have a quick question. So the child who was stealing for his mother because she was ill, that would be considered sukarma or vikarma?
Vikarma, because it's stealing without paying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But if he had gone and requested, you know, if I can pay later, that would have been proper. But he was stealing. He was a child. He didn't know better. So yeah. But because somebody else helped, right? If the lady punished, she would also get some karma because she could have asked, why are you doing it? And then because it's medicine, why would somebody steal medicine, right? So if she was the one who would have helped, she would have gotten a good reaction later. But because this person chose to help this restaurant owner, he chose to help, then he got a good reaction later.
Thank you. Hare Krishna Mataji. Very nice class today.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you for being there. Anybody else?
Very beautiful class, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. All right, so we'll meet again. Next time we'll start with 4.24. Hare
Yes.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna,
Thank
Prabhuji.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.